What's up, everybody? Recording live from the Dee Hankins studio, actually the DJ Inspire studio because of the technical difficulties. My name is Dee Hankins. This is a special edition of the Dee Hankins Show where we talk about life, we help you with your curveballs, and we celebrate your home runs. It is May, Foster Care Awareness Month. I am your host, Dee Hankins. I don't even want to call you a guest. Like, you are the star of the show, my man. I have the one, the only DJ Johnson. Now, before I get to DJ, I want to tell you what this series is all about. It's Foster Care Awareness Month. I want people to understand that there are foster care, like current foster care folks, past foster care folks, regular foster care folks, people who serve foster care folks that are doing big things. I want to bring awareness to the world that there's the kids that were in foster care that are killing the game. And so my first guest is my boy DJ. DJ is a former foster youth turned, get this, I want everybody to pay attention to this. DJ is a former foster youth turned husband, father, master's degree?
Two of them things.
Two master's degrees, okay? Two master's degrees. Let me start all over. DJ is a husband, a father, graduate, a master at his class, school counselor, award-winning bodybuilder, author, motivational speaker. Come on now, man. Come on. All this from foster care. So give a digital round of applause to DJ Johnson for what I just said. Let me break, for those of y'all just coming in, let me break this down one more time, okay? Husband, former foster youth, okay? Husband, father, graduate, 2 master's degrees, school counselor, award-winning bodybuilder, athlete, I forgot that one, athlete, author, inspirational, motivational speaker. Come on, man. International. Bro, what is it that you don't do?
I do not. There's a lot of things. I don't put my phone down enough when my wife is trying to talk to me. How about that?
All right, yeah, we got to find one flaw. Let me hop in this, DJ. I got some questions for you.
All right.
Everyone experiences foster care differently.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some pros that you took away from your foster care experience.
So for me, I always kind of shied away from being labeled as a foster youth. And so while I was in it, I was living in kinship care. So it was always easy for me to be like, oh, I live with my auntie, or I live with my grandma, or I live with my cousin, you know? And so it was just like, that was socially acceptable. And it wasn't people asking me more questions about my situation, about why I didn't live with my parents or what that situation was like. So for me, I always kind of shied away from it. But what I will say, and I've always said, is I got taken out of a situation where foster care ended up being a better experience for me personally than what I was dealing with before I got into foster care. So I initially, like, my life wouldn't be what it was if I didn't go into foster care, because of all the things that I was dealing with prior to it.
I respect that, man. I respect that. Can you elaborate on that? So most people have this misconception about foster care, and we'll talk about that later. But you said foster care put you in a better situation than your biological environment. Yeah. Please explain that.
Yeah, so right before I went into foster care, literally the year leading up to it, like, probably, you know, I share some very traumatic stories when I speak, and what was happening leading up to it, we had a house fire. It was my 3rd grade going into my 4th grade year. My brother set our apartment on fire. We ended up being homeless for about a month and a half. Actually, pretty much that whole summer, honestly. But I remember about a month and a half, we went and we stayed in a motel room. So it was me, my four other siblings, five of us total, me and my mom and my stepdad. So seven people, imagine this, 7 people in this small motel room for a month and a half. So I think it was only one bed, and we made it work. One back, like it was crazy. Now I'm looking back at it, but as kids, we're like, "Oh snaps, we staying in a motel!" Like, and so like that was the situation. Then my stepdad, he would go to jail in and out of my childhood. You know, I remember him going to jail often. And this particular time, he ended up going to jail. And so that left my mom not able to pay for the motel room. Then we ended up staying, I think, with relatives. And then ultimately, my mom was able to find like a 2-bedroom home that we were able to stay in. But my mom didn't graduate from high school. So what she was doing to make ends meet was stripping, exotic dancing. And so she was doing that to kind of make ends meet. And that ultimately led her into drug usage. And I remember, you know, being in the home. I'm the oldest, so I'm about fourth grade now. I remember like there'll be times where we find like crack pipes and different things around the house, as my mom was getting deep into her drug usage. And so I remember one day she had came to me and she just kind of like, I think I remember her being like on her knees and just kind of getting to my level and just like, hey, like, I can't take care of you anymore. And, you know, I think about that moment because I'm like, dang, why didn't I just ask why? But I think I was just so numb to all of the different things that was happening in my life. Like at that point, I feel like I just didn't have any emotions. I just was kind of like, hey, you know, it is what it is. Like, this is what's going to happen. Like, this is what happens in our family. These traumatic, crazy events. This is just what happens. So my mom said she's gonna, you know, not be able to take care of us. We're gonna stay with grandma. She's gonna clean herself up and then she'll get us back. Like I really believed her in that moment. And so that led into us going into the foster care system, ultimately living with my grandma and then home after home after home after that. But and so I say the situation that I was in, you know, watching my mom essentially, you know, deal with a drug problem right before my eyes, watching my stepdad be in and out of jail, watching my dad not be in my life, even though I was introduced to him at 11. I've never really tell that story. On my 11th birthday, I I grew up thinking that my stepdad was my real dad. And so on my 11th birthday, I'm at my grandma's house and this man walks up with my mom. And so she walks up and she's like, hey, I need to tell you something, but I need you not to tell your stepdad. Dad in the moment, stepdad right now. And so I was like, all right. So she's like, this is your dad. I'm 11. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
So it's like an initial shock. And then it was like, that was, you know, he's like, hey, you know, whatever, did he's kind of, you know, talk to me or whatever. Then he gave me some money. And I was like, as a whatever grade 11-year-old, I'm like, okay, shoot, like, all right, we good then. You gave me some money, we good. And so this kind of why I say the foster care. So and to be fair, like it wasn't perfect being in the foster care system for me, but it just happened to be a better situation than what I grew up in. I dealt with abuse. I dealt with, like I said, stepdad in and out of jail. My mom, my dad, both dealt with drug addictions in my childhood. My stepdad as well, mental health issues. There was sexual abuse. Like there was so many things that was happening prior to me going into the foster care system. And so for me, I pretty much gained stability, at least more stability than my past when I got into the foster care system.
So looking now, like I just listed all of your accomplishments. How did you get there, bro? Like how did you get where you're at today? You know, you and I are both speakers, and not even foster youth, but even regular people that have traumatic events and they go, I have no chance at a successful future. How did you go from being abused, your mom pretty much telling you, yo, I can't take care of you, learning that the man that was taking care of you was not really your dad, abuse, packed households, your needs not being met home to home. How do you go from that to being a husband, being a father, being a graduate of school, being an athlete, going around world speaking? Like, how do you do that?
I spent initially, I think what got me through it initially was when I went to live with grandma, she loved me differently than what I was experiencing from my parents. And she was still old school in her way, but I remember her love being stronger than the discipline that I would get from her. And it wasn't even that bad. Like, I just remember her loving me more than, you know, the old school way. And so, like, that was kind of an initial shock to my system. And then my grandma sent us to this park, like around the corner from her house. And she was like, after school, you're going to go there. Every day after school, you're going to go to this park. And at this park, they had like this building, and it, had basketball courts, tennis courts, playground, all this stuff. And in the building, they had like foosball tables, pool tables, video games. Like, they had all these different things you could do after school. They fed us a snack. And so it was like the hangout for all the kids in the neighborhood. And so when we would go to the after school program, that's when I met my mentor. And when I met my mentor initially, my wall was up, bro. Like, the way I explain it is like it was the Great Wall of China for me. Because when you think about like having that big of a wall up, you think about like I call it hurt, the type of hurt that you experience from the people that's supposed to love you the most. And so when I experienced my hurt, where my mom hurt me and she was supposed to love me, and my dad hurt me and he was supposed to love me, and my stepdad committed to loving me and he hurt me, like what other hurt am I going to experience if the people who love me the most hurt me? So for me, when I have my great wall up, I'm like, nah, I'm not experiencing no more hurt. Because I feel like I've experienced hurt at the highest level you can experience it. And so I have my guard up because I'm like, I don't want to experience this again. So when my mentor came into my life, I was looking at him like, nah, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know what you're capable of based off of the fact of what I'm seeing from these adults that I had to live with or deal with. And he just kept showing and proving himself worthy to me and showing me like, hey, I'm here for you. I want the best for you. I want to see you succeed. And eventually I was able to join his mentoring group, and it really changed my life. He became that father figure, that stability piece. He was married, had 2 kids of his own, heavily involved in the community, worked full time, church guy. Like, he was doing all these things. And I was telling people recently, like, I remember calling my mentor, and maybe out of all the times I've called him, there was maybe only 2 times he didn't answer the phone. And if he was busy, he would answer, hey, I'm at a meeting, or hey, I'm this, I'll call you back, right? His line was always open. It was always available. Even if I was asking for stuff, hey, can you buy me some shoes? Can you buy me? Because our relationship got to a point where he would hook me up for a school. He would take me school shopping. He would take me bowling, taught me how to golf and do all these different things. So he literally was the angel sent from heaven in the time that I needed it the most. So literally right when I got into the foster care system, I got in connected with my mentor, and I pretty much was connected to him from then and up until now. And so he instilled in me first what he saw in me first, and he instilled in me how important education was going to be for me to change my situation. He reminded me, like, you don't have to be like these people. You don't have to be like your mom. You don't have to be like your dad. You could be different. You're capable of more. I see more in you. And I never told you this story, but this is how much he instilled in me early on when I first met him. I must have been in the 6th grade. Can't remember, 5th or 6th grade. And he would host these like events on Martin Luther King, like that weekend, like on Monday. So it was always like a day of service, or he would host these things. He'd bring speakers in. It was pretty cool. And so one day he did that event, and the mayor of the city came to the event. And so he wanted to to introduce him. And I don't know, he didn't even tell me to do this. I just went up to the mayor and I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Together we could do great things to change this city. Like, what?
How?
Who are you? I was like 5th or 6th grade, bro. And so like this is if you're out there watching and you're like, man, this guy has a crazy story, like, I will be the first to tell you that I did not get here alone. And I tell my students that I give the opportunity to speak to, you cannot be successful alone.
Mm.
And for me, I give credit to my grandma first, my mentor, absolutely, because he was the one that really fed into me, spoke life into me, and really challenged me to see myself in a positive light. So that was the kind of initial thing that allowed me to get to this point. And then playing sports was really a way to kind of cope and deal with different things in my life. I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't have unhealthy ways of coping, because that definitely was there. I'm talking like porn. I'm talking a lot of different things that I was doing that was helping me cope with all this trauma that I was carrying with me and not realizing. But I ultimately didn't get to a place of, because you don't really reach full healing, right? Like I'm a counselor, so I hope people understand that, because they feel like, oh, I'm healed, so I'm good. You know, I ain't gonna have to deal with those things that I had to deal with in the past. Wrong.
Mm.
Absolutely
Mm.
not. So what I had to understand is healing is not linear. It's literally something you just get better over time dealing with. And so I didn't really get to a really positive, good place of healing until my 20s, where I finally decided to go to therapy. And so, yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's kind of how I got from that to where I am today.
Man, mentorship, being able to open up yourself to look for a mentor and ask for help. That's huge. Helping yourself by going to therapy. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. Every time I speak, especially to adults, I'm super transparent with them, and I'm like, y'all need therapy, like you do. And so therapy helped me get to where I am. Many times people go, oh, how'd you do it? I'm like, dude, I asked for help. Like, not just waiting for it to come to me, right? I asked for help. Like, dude, I want to be a better father. Therapy. I want to know why I have anger issues. Therapy. My mom died in 2018. Therapy. Like, that's just me. So, if you're watching this and you're not in therapy, you need therapy. And people who walk around and go, I'm fine. I'm good. Like, I'm good. I can handle all my stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, you definitely need therapy, right? Because a part of healing and being real is saying, I need help. I can't do this by myself. And I understand that. So that's really powerful, man. You've accomplished a lot in your short time here on earth, right? So if you guys are just joining, I'm speaking to former foster youth, DJ Johnson, who is now inspirational speaker. He's a graduate, master's degree, award-winning bodybuilder, author, husband, father. I was going to say a wife, but you're not a wife. You're a husband. You have a wife, and your wife is awesome. Britt is awesome. Shout out to Brittany because right where there is a strong behind every strong man. Finish it, DJ.
He's a strong woman.
Is a strong woman, man. Strong women. So I appreciate that. Okay, I got a few more questions for you, man. There's a lot of misconceptions about foster care. Okay, what is something that you think people get wrong about the foster care experience?
I so I've as much as I've been speaking and sharing my story about being in foster care, it's probably taken me into about, I would say, 2 or 3 years ago to really be one with it. I think it was Lena who I had a conversation with, because I would always be like, Lena, like, I ain't struggling in foster care like the normal kid, like of the stories that I hear, like people be living in home to home and people be treating them kind of crazy. Like, I didn't have that experience. Like, for me, my life changed when I got into the foster care system. So I think the thing that I would say is, like, people have to understand, like, there are situations where people go into the foster care system and it ends up being a better situation for them. And there are people that are in foster care who are going through it. And I would
Mm-hmm.
like to think that, we're getting to a situation where foster parents are getting more educated and foster parents are being more better about how they're, helping their children that they're inheriting through their traumas and all of the different things. Like, I like to think that the resources and different things are much better than when we were in the foster care system. And even the different things that they get when they go to college. Like I get a little jealous, low key. Like they hooking the foster youth up in the college level, and I remember like they hooked us up, but there still was some struggles. So
Yeah, yeah.
for me, I feel like
It's not all
those
bad.
people. No, it's not all bad. It's not like the statistics are still there, and I think they're slowly improving. But the reality is like there are people who make it out of there, and every people that I've met personally have made it because somebody helped them, because somebody saw something in them. And so as people, like, are we going to just sit back and listen to people say certain things about foster youth, or are we going to get involved and help in any way that we can, so we can change those stats, change those numbers, change the perception of how we view foster youth moving forward?
Yeah, that's an important thing to really think about. You know, statistics are created by the individual, right? So, what I tell people in foster care is this: like, you're going to be a statistic anyway. You might as well shift them, right? Because if you graduate college and get your master's degree, I graduate college and get my master's degree. You know, instead of it saying, oh, 2% graduate college, maybe that goes to 5% now, right? And we want to get, instead of saying, 50% drop out of high school. If you graduate high school, I graduate high school, Lucy graduates high school, Jaya graduates high school, Kevon graduates high school, then instead of 50%, maybe it's 60%, or excuse me, maybe it's 40% drop out of high school. And then 20 years from now, it's only 10% drop out of high school. And this is why Foster Care Awareness Month is so important, because if you're a foster youth, a lot of times these statistics can seem very grim, but you have the opportunity to change those things. One of the misconceptions that I like to highlight within foster care is the fact that anybody can end up in foster care. I used to think it was some like disease. If you got into foster care, oh, you're automatically a bad kid. You're automatically a troublemaker. What did you do? And if you know anything about foster care, you didn't do anything. Somebody did something to you that ended up in there. But it could happen, man. Like, there was one young lady that I was speaking at an event in Orange County, and sadly, both of her parents passed away on the same day in a car accident. She had family outside of the country that didn't want to take her. She entered foster care, and to hear that, to have, like, talk about trauma, bro. Like, you lost both of your parents in the same night, and then your other family want nothing to do with you. Well, the reason why she was at that event, because she was getting awarded for she got like 3 or 4 scholarships to like Ivy League schools, bro. It's like foster care is like, bam, like there's some really amazing people that end up in foster care with really tragic stories, but they bounce back, which is why I'm so big on resilience. So 2 misconceptions that we just covered right now. One, for some people, foster care isn't all that bad. For DJ's situation, foster care was actually better than his home life, right? And then another misconception is that it's some type of bad thing. Like, if you're in foster care, you're bad. What's up, Yance? How you doing? Like, you're bad, and you're not. Anybody can end up in foster care at any point in time. As a matter of fact, at any point, any given day, there's 350,000 people or kids in foster care as we speak. Okay, so I want y'all to really think about that. Last question for you, DJ. If there's a message that you could share with the community about foster care, what would it be? What would it be? And not just from your perspective, but from the kids that you've talked to over the years, from the people that you've met over the years, and the conversation that you've had over the years. What message would you share with the community about foster care?
For me, they all just want an opportunity and a chance to be seen as the human beings that they are, as the young kids who didn't get all the cards dealt correctly for them, but they're just trying to make ends meet and figure out how to be successful in this life. And so if we can see them past their situation and we can see them for who they are, like peeling back the layers, past their behavior, past the whatever there might be that's keeping you from seeing them for who they are. I just want you to kind of give them an opportunity and a chance, and give them grace and give them patience, because you just don't know what they're going through. And like I said, like, even though my situation was a better situation when I got into foster care, like, I still moved from home for home. I still went to different middle schools, even staying in kinship. I remember there was a home in particular that I stayed in, and I initially thought it was going to be my first foster home that wasn't kinship, until I found out it was actually kinship through my biological dad. But even in that family, I moved there with the intention of them adopting me, and eventually it was revealed to me that they weren't going to adopt me, as a matter of fact, because I was too old, but they were willing to adopt my younger sister, who I was living with at the time. And so I remember being in that home, and she would blatantly treat her kids differently than how she treated us. Yeah. And would like tell us that was the reason why. So it wasn't perfect, but compared to what I had came from, that's what I was dealing with. So yeah, for me, seeing them for who they are, seeing them past whatever situation they're dealing with, whether it's behavior, whether it's trouble, whatever it might be, helping them understand, like, I see you, I want the best for you. And if any adult can be in a position to do that for them, I think it'll change everything for them.
Man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. DJ, you are a prime example of fostering the future. You are an incredible human being. You're an incredible man. You're an incredible friend. This is an honor for me, bro. I know we chop it up all the time, text message, calls and stuff like that. But to be in front of you digitally, in front of these people, sharing your story and really thinking about what you have become and how you have literally climbed out the mud, like made it out the mud. I know a lot of people say that, but you've literally endured that, and you're consistently doing the work. You're a champion of foster care, bro. Like, there's a lot of us out there that are excelling at a high level, like you. But man, you set the bar high. You inspire me every day, man. I hope I do the same for you. But you're as a former foster youth that endured everything that you endured, having the strength to talk about that in front of people and relive that, but also to showcase it with your degree, showcase it with your career, how you love your family and things like that, that makes you the amazing person that you are. So it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. Everybody that is watching, you can, if you're an educator and you think that DJ's story can resonate with students in your classroom, at your school, or you have a large population of foster youth, I'm going to put it in the chat right now, or put it in the comments. Or Nicola, if you're still on, you can go ahead and do that. It's www.djinspires.com. DJ also has a parenting portion where, and he's incredible with parents, right? I keep hyping you up, man. You're going to have to pay me, Brody. Straight up. But DJ is incredible with parents. So if you're watching this and you're like, yo, my mom be tripping, my dad be tripping, get them on to DJ's parenting, get them signed up. It's DJ Inspires Parents, correct?
Parenting, DJ Inspires Parenting.
Oh, DJ Inspires Parenting, where, he goes in depth, practical stuff, man. It's amazing for you. I'm going to have these episodes all the time. Thank you, Nicola. Not all the time, but for this month, and I'm going to spread it out. There's some more amazing people that are going to be on this show that I get to interview and that are champions of foster care. If you yourself are in foster care, or you deal with anyone in foster care, child welfare, and you would like to be on this live on Fostering the Future in the month of May, where we talk about practical stuff, I ask questions, so we can really spread awareness about foster care, shoot me a DM at I am Dee Hankins. Get in my DMs. We'll be posting on this stuff in the stories. If you want to be a part of this live, audience and you want to, really share your thoughts, I'll be more than happy to do that. Okay. DJ Johnson, one more time, chat, give a big round of applause for Mr. DJ, all your accomplishments. You're incredible, man. Any final thoughts?
I first and foremost just echo everything you said as far as the reference that I have for the good Dee Hankins. Since I first met you many years ago, it's been over 10, I think, over 10 years. I knew that was a guy who I needed to be connected with, and then you quickly became a brother of mine. So I was just telling Kayvon, who I thought was on here, he's like, y'all pretty close, huh? I'm like, yeah, that's like my brother. Like, we really brothers.
Yeah, facts.
We be on each other's head. We always connected. We totally love you. Hey, you good? Did you make it to where you're supposed to be? Like, we really brothers in this thing. So really appreciate you, man. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be the first to kind of kick this thing off. It's no secret what you're doing for the foster youth community. You've been in the game for a long time, impacting a lot of lives. I mean, if you could put a number on it, what would you say? Like, are you at the 100K mark? Like, are you 250K? Are you half mil?
Like of people that I've spoken to? Oh man, I gotta be touching 1 million, bro.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so, I gotta be pretty close to 1 million. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, maybe next year when you do your next tour idea, maybe you make it in 1 year, you impact 1 million lives. How about that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a great idea, man. I haven't even really thought about that. I just kind of do my thing, and I dumb it down a little bit because I don't know the actual numbers, but now that I think about it, man, this would be my 12th year as a professional, 15th year speaking. I'm at least hitting 50 schools a year.
Yeah.
We're talking, 3,000.
It's a lot of lives, man.
Yeah, man.
A lot of lives.
So yeah, both of us, man. At the end of the day, and I tell all foster youth this: if you're handling business, a win for you is ultimately a win for me, and a win for me is ultimately a win for you, and that's how this foster thing rides out. Like, I emancipated years ago, almost 20 years ago, and I still consider myself an alumni of the foster care system because it's a part of my life. It's what got me here. This is what I talk about. This is, these are the people that I met. We have such a close relationship because we can relate on so many levels with so many different things, as much as, Kevon and all those other people. So yeah, man, it's just, I'm proud of you, bro. Like, at the end of the day, man, like, I think that's just what I want to say. Like, I'm really, really, honestly, deeply proud of you for everything that you do and everything that you will continue to do. Man, you're incredible.
Appreciate you, bro, man. Appreciate you so much. Absolutely. Hey, I was gonna ask you have some time to take like a couple questions?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. If you got some questions in the chat, let's do some Q&A. Again, this is Fostering the Future, little specialized Dee Hankins Show episodes where we're talking about, or we're talking to some exceptional alumni of foster care or current foster care youth. So if you have some questions in the chat to ask DJ or I, please ask away. A couple shout outs while you guys are getting your questions. We both have to simultaneously shout out to Nicola Persad.
Yes.
Nicola is a G, like a GG. She's a real one. Nicola, thank you for all the hard work that you put in to make these things happen. You are an incredible human being. All right, I'm going to go down the chat. Juliana Parker is at Santa Monica College. I got a chance to meet her on Monday, DJ. Incredible. Juliana, I know you all are having some events this month that have to deal with foster care. I encourage you to please reach out to DJ Johnson. He is incredible. He has a message for your students, whether you want to just bring them all into like a workshop or you want to do the same things that we did. Talk to him. Put him on the list of people that you need to have at Santa Monica College for your program.
You won't be
okay. So shout out to You will not be disappointed, right? You will not be disappointed at all. I promise you. Let's see. We have, let's see. Cello Bello has been very interactive. So shout out to Cello Bello. Kevon was in the house. What's up, my G? Can't wait to talk to him. Yancy was there. Any of your peeps in here, man?
I saw some people early on. They might not be on. Preezy, I just met him in February at Barstow College. So he's been the homie. I've been following him in his journey. There were some students from DSMS, Desert Springs Middle School. They were asking me if I was coming back. I'm working with the principal for me to come back next school year and run a group. So I won't speak, but we might be running a group after school. So look out for that.
Oh, we got a question. Hold on, let me see.
I did see some questions.
Yeah, let me see. I think
had the first one.
Oh, did we? Okay. What advice can you give for parents dealing with fosters with mental health issues? Ooh.
Yeah.
You go. No, please. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I really, somebody asked me in a speaking engagement a couple years ago, what is the one thing, if you could go back and change about something that happened in your childhood, like what would you change? And I said, honestly, the one thing I would have loved for somebody to do was to introduce me to counseling or therapy, either in middle school or right when I got into the foster care system. And so like, I need us as a people, Black and brown people in particular, can I talk about it for a little bit? I need us to remove the stigma of therapy, of counseling, of all these different things. It's not for white people. It is not something that we hide. We don't hide the things that we do, because if you got to hide what you're doing, then you probably shouldn't be doing it, right? So for us, it's removing the stigma. It's helping students understand, like, it's good to talk to somebody. It's good to talk to a professional. It's good to get these things out. It's good to get coping skills and strategies to help you deal with everyday life. Now, I can do a history lesson on why I feel like that has been a message in our community for us not to seek these types of resources. And it's been more socially acceptable to drink our problems away or smoke our problems away. But I won't. But I will say, if I was a parent who was fostering a child with mental health issues, I would, one, make them not feel some type of way about the fact that they have a mental health issue. And two, I would ease and work them into why mental health counselor therapy is important. Now, the other part that I hear from students a lot is they'll try therapy and it'll be a whack experience. And a lot of times it could be them just not fully trusting the situation and not really going all in on it. But a lot of times it is the adult in the space who just is not good with working with students, or just not the right therapist for that particular student. So me and Dee are shoe shoppers. We like to, I know Dee kind of slowed down a little bit, but I know he's an avid shoe collector. And so the way that I talk about it is, when we're looking for therapists, if it's available, we need to be shopping around like we shop for our shoes. So if one therapist is not hitting it after a couple sessions, say, okay, you know what? I need to try a different one. I'm eventually going to be working on my third therapist. So my first therapist was I want to say Middle Eastern, Pakistani in particular. And it was good. It was a good introduction for me. She did everything that I needed in that moment. And then once we finished, I realized I needed to work with a Black person, just because in therapy and the situations that I had with my prior therapist, there just wasn't things that I can address with her without having to over explain or having to, just based off of her not fully understanding the culture. And so then I had my Black therapist, and that was great. It was like a notch up for me in my healing and my understanding. And now my next therapist is most likely going to be a male, just because there's some more layering of healing and unpacking that I feel like I need to do, that I feel like it'll be best if I did it with a male therapist. So that's just kind of some insight into how therapy and kind of how it's worked for me in terms of my progression. But it's so important to just introduce them, have the conversation with them like a normal everyday conversation. Like we talk about sports, like we talk about the rap beef that's going on. Like, let us talk about therapy and healing like we talk about everything else. And I think that would be the best advice that I could give.
That would be cool, man. It would be cool to have a conversation with your boys and be like, oh man, what you got going this weekend? Oh, my son's got soccer at 11:30. I got therapy at 1. We're going to dinner at 4. Just something casual like that, where you're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yep. And to our credit, we have a friend group that we're able to do that. We hold space for each other to have those types of conversations. So
That's what's up.
I think
Man,
I like to think we're growing
we're on
as a
it.
people.
Next question is what's one thing, this is from I am Katie Wilson.
KD, what's
It
up,
says
bro?
what's one thing you wished people knew about children moving through foster care? Let me go ahead and answer
Yep,
this
you
one
got that.
and piggyback to you. They're not bad, they're hurt.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
I,
They're
I was
not
gonna say
bad kids,
something.
they're hurt
Yeah,
kids.
I was gonna say something that's along the same lines. I just want people to see foster youth and know that behavior is communication, and know that how they act is one way, who they are is another thing.
Mm.
Because I think a lot of times, not just foster youth, we have an issue of labeling children bad, angry, lazy, all these different things that we put on children. And the reality is they behave one way, but they act and they are one another. Like, so who they are at the core of who they are, if we peel back the layers, they're not lazy. They're not all these things we tend to label them as. And so being able to separate their behavior from the person is a very important thing that we could do when people interact with foster youth.
100%.
Great question, Katie.
100%. 100%. Yeah, great question, KD. Great question. Cello Bello asked, will this be on YouTube? I am struggling with Instagram right now, so I can't really. I will try. I will try to put this on YouTube.
I'm gonna download
Nicola
it
asks,
and send it
yeah,
to you.
download it, cut it up, and then put it on YouTube. Nicola asks, what advice would you give people going through foster care right now? Would you like to start that one off?
If you're going through foster care, I need you to know, I always quote my mentor, Jeremy Anderson. He says, your condition is not your conclusion. I wish I
Mm.
understood that when I was younger. I didn't truly understand it until I got older. But here's the thing. I want y'all to look this up. It's called the Adverse Childhood Experience, ACE score. ACE score. So you look it up, Google ACE score test or ACE score worksheet, whatever it is. What you'll see is this 10-question thing. And really what it does is it assesses the type of trauma that you've experienced from before you turn 18. So by the time you turn 18, it's literally yes or no. Did you experience this? Yes or no. Did you experience that? Yes or no, right? So you go through that. The highest score that you can get on this test is a 10. Now I need you to understand why, if somebody was to get a 10 on the score, why that's an important thing. A 6 or higher, according to the stats, somebody that's had an A score of 6 or higher compared to a person that didn't have any A scores had a lifespan shortened 20 years. So their lifespan was shortened by 20 years. So a person with an A score of 6 or higher had 20 years less of life than a person that did not have an A score.
Mm.
I had an A score of a 10 by the time I got to high school. So just putting it into perspective, things that I've been able to overcome. So for foster youth, I need you to understand,
Wow.
in the moment, it feels raw. It feels terrible. It feels like you're never going to make it. It feels like the world is against you. It feels like nobody is with you. It feels very heavy in the moment. So it's hard for you in the moment to see the future, to see the light, to see a possibility, to see the sun. It's so hard in the moment. And I'm speaking from experience because I remember being there. But I need you to understand that your condition, the things that you're going through right now, the trials, the tribulations, the frustrations, the anger, the hurt, the harm, everything that you're going through right now is not what it's going to be for you in the future. Your condition is not your conclusion. It's not going to be the story that we tell about you at the end of the day. And it's really not going to be the story that we tell about you at the end of the day. If you decide, as I preach, to change your narrative, to change your story, to take control of the story that you want to be told about your life. So if I was giving advice to a current foster youth, I would tell you your conditioning is not your conclusion. Your life right now is not what it's going to be in the future. And it's definitely not going to be what it is in the future. If you lock in, if you get your mentorship, if you heal, if you do all the things that's going to help you persevere through your trials and tribulations, you will make it in this life.
Facts, man. You hit me with the music Tourette's real quick, man. The hurt, the pain,
I
the
know.
lies, the rain, the dear, da 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 da. I was like, oh man, I'm about to go off right now.
People who have
That's
heard me
hey,
speak would know what he's talking about.
that's great advice, man, for people going through foster care right now. Change your narrative. You know, the story that you're living is not the story that we're going to tell. That's pretty incredible, man. My advice would be this. You know, foster care does two things to people. It drags them down or propels them forward. If you're a current foster youth right now, the honest truth is you have every excuse to fail, and no one's going to bat an eye, right? If you went through the things that DJ went through, drug addicted parents, father moving in and out of jail, like back and forth abuse, all this other stuff, and you fail in life, no one's going to be like, well, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened to them. They're going to say, what did you expect? Okay. Or the other option is you get people to go, wow, how'd you do it? Right. So you can control people's wow, how'd you do it? You know, of course, every excuse to fail, no problem. You know, do what you got to do. But if you succeed and you climb up and you activate your resilience and you change your narrative and you start to do things that people never thought you would do, people look at you and go, wow, how'd you do it? And I don't know about DJ because DJ went down a semi different path than I did. But everything that I have in life, everything from the place that I live, the studio that you're seeing right now, the car that I drive, the cameras that I use, the shoe collection that I have, everything that I have, I never thought I could get while I was in foster care. But when I started focusing on my gifts, my skills, and my talents, it all came. And now when people hear me and people see me and they hear our stories, DJ, they go, wow, how'd you do it? So that's my advice for y'all. Let me see. We got some really good comments. I didn't get any more questions though, not on my end. Katie says, never let someone's opinion of yesterday dictate and determine your tomorrow. That's a mic drop. Cello Bella goes, wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you went through a lot, bro. That ACEs score is crazy. Every reason to quit and every every reason to quit and every
internal soul charging
purpose filled reason to succeed. Oh, maybe I'm just reading that without, forgive me, KD. Like maybe I'm just not reading that how that needs to come out. Disney Breeze in the house. What are some of your future goals? Oh, that's a great question. DJ, let's end it with that, man. Okay, what are some of DJ Johnson's future goals?
Shout out to Bree too.
Shout out to Bree.
I want to say.
Hey, fun fact: Bree is a really good friend of mine, also former foster youth. And real quick, I'm just gonna go on a thing. And Bree, don't kill me for saying this, but she's one of those individuals that had a lot of doubt. I'm never going to have this. I'm never going to have that. I can't do this. Why is this stuff happening to me? So on and so forth. And she stuck her hands in the dirt. She got her hands dirty. She got when the rubber met the road, she made things happen. Got married, has a beautiful son. She's working like full time. Her husband's awesome. Like she's killing it right now. And it's funny that you say, I just remembered her from what you were sharing earlier about how like right now it seems like, this is going on and this is going on and how I'm going to make it. And she was one, like we used to talk all the time about, life is happening and this is happening. And one day something just snapped in her and she just got so laser focused and started changing little things around her life to boom, be where she's at now. So that she just reminded me of what you were saying earlier, DJ. Yeah. Incredible story, incredible woman.
For sure. Thanks, Bree, for being on.
Yeah.
Future goals. For me, it's taking DJ Inspires to another level. We've had the opportunity to be in one school district at the moment with contracts for the last since 2018, thankfully, and going into another year, we started having those conversations. But for me, I feel like, I want the opportunity to impact more lives if possible. So for me, it's figuring out ways to add to my team and do all those different things. But more importantly, create more opportunities to speak and share my story across the country as I've been able to do over the last year or so. So that for me, that's goals. And then of course we got our family goals. We want to, as Dee has done, pay off some debt and get a home eventually. And so those are kind of in our goals wheelhouse for the future right now.
That's what's up, man. Future goals, man. Future goals. I definitely want to hit the author. I want that author tag. I want to write a book. I do want to.
Way past due on that.
I know. I am way past due. I am way past due, but I'm going to get it done. I want to, hit that international tag. And I was thinking about it, DJ, because we talk about this all the time. I think that there's this mental block. Call it fear, call it like not being, getting out of my comfort zone. I do feel like there's a lot of work to do in my own home per se, but there's a lot of people out there that also need to hear what we have to share. They need to know about resilience and changing your narrative, much like you did in Canada and things like that. And so that's definitely in my future as well. So author tag, international tag, and then ultimately, I want people to go to www.ticketmaster.com and see Dee Hankins live and buy a ticket and come see me. That's what I want. I'm tired of going to y'all. Okay. I want y'all to come to me. All right. I want a successful podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Ticketmaster, bro. You need your own website. Don't use
That's true. That's true. You're right. You're right. www.dhankins.com, live events. And I want you guys to come see me. I want to hold live workshops where you guys come and we do like what you did, in a sense, where you were at Cancun and you were doing the hotel thing. I want to do those things, man. Ultimately just have enough money to help people, man. Like, real talk, I've always thought about this. I watch these dudes on YouTube that just go, hey, pick my hat or this, this ticket. And then they pick the ticket and they go, oh, here's $1,000. Like, I literally want to have enough money where I can say, hey, how much is your rent this month? And someone like randomly, right? And they're just like, oh, my rent's like, $1,200. And I just hand them $1,200 and say, have a nice day. Mm-hmm. And that's literally what I want to do. So that's my giving back. DJ, I hate to see you go, but there's got to be an end to this, man.
Yes, for sure.
Hey, what a way to start off this series, man. Once again, www.djinspires.com. Please follow this man on Instagram. He's incredible. Bring him to your school, bring him to your events, keynote speaker, workshop presenter, parenting trainings, personal development. It's all that. Right? Oh, Sophie's in the house. You remember Sophie from Michigan? Lander, DJ?
That was in Michigan, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't go to Michigan.
Finder.
That's Wyoming.
Why do I always say Michigan? Lander, Wyoming. I always say that. Wyoming. Yes, Pathfinder. And shout out to your mom. Her mom wrote us a letter, man. I went to go visit. She couldn't come to when I went back to celebrate, and her mom wrote us a letter, and it was so heartfelt, man. Like, you really, really inspired her when she was talking to you that night. And
let's go.
Yeah, dude, Soph killed it. She Citrus Principal Wall was like, dude, she almost didn't make the celebration, and in like 2 weeks, day and night and day, she was just homework, boom, boom, filling it out. Like, she made sure she was on that celebration. And it was so amazing to see her, man. You guys, man, I wish you would have came, man. Next time we got to come back and see what's up.
For sure.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us on the Dee Hankins Show and this special version called Foster the Future with the incredible DJ Johnson. We hope you guys took something from it. Yes, we're going to try to chop this up, put it on YouTube and all that other stuff. So be prepared for that. Share this if you liked it, if you found something inspirational about it. Share this video in your stories. Follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. Do you have a YouTube channel, DJ?
I do.
Okay.
I don't remember what it's called, but
okay. Well, just Google DJ and you'll find his YouTube.
Find it. DJ Inspired.
Dolly, Soph, Nicola, Cello Bello, Katie, Kevon, all of you that stopped by today. Thank you so much for watching. I got nothing but love for you. My last statement is always going to be the same. Remember, life throws curveballs, but even curveballs can be hit for home runs.
I thought you were going to make me finish it.
Oh, you got to finish it. You finish it.
You already said it.
No. We got.
So
all right, we start that over because
curveballs, and then I'll say. But
I like that. But
can be hit for home run.
But do you have a ending? Boom, boom, boom.
I mean, I need you to understand that it's important for you to change your narrative.
Oh, I like that. I like it. That's good enough for me, man. That's good enough for me.
Right,
but hey, we should actually no. We got to do that. All right. All right, guys, we're leaving. We're ending this live. Thank y'all for showing up. And remember, life throws curveballs.
But even curveballs can be hit for home runs.
Boom. All right, y'all. Love y'all, man. Peace.